In the late 19th century, as the British Empire expanded its influence across the globe, a small but significant conflict unfolded off the coast of East Africa. This conflict, which would later be known as the Anglo-Zanzibar War, is remarkable not for its scale or casualties, but for its brevity. Lasting a mere 38 minutes on August 27, 1896, it stands as the shortest war in recorded history. Despite its fleeting nature, this war encapsulates the immense power dynamics of the era and the rapid shifts in fortune that could occur in the blink of an eye. The story of the 38-minute war begins with the Sultanate of Zanzibar, a small island nation located strategically in the Indian Ocean. Zanzibar had been an important hub for trade, particularly in spices and slaves, and by the 19th century, it had become a protectorate of the British Empire. The British, keen to secure their interests in the region, exerted significant influence over Zanzibar's internal affairs. However, tensions simmered beneath the surface, as not all Zanzibaris were content with British dominance. The catalyst for the conflict was the death of Sultan Hamid bin Thuwaini on August 25, 1896. Hamid had been a pro-British ruler, and his sudden death created a power vacuum. Seizing the opportunity, his cousin, Khalid bin Barghash, declared himself the new sultan by passing the British-approved successor. Khalid was known for his anti-British sentiments, and his ascension to power was a direct challenge to British authority. The British consul, Basil Cave, immediately ordered Khalid to step down and warned that his failure to comply would result in military action. Khalid, however, was defiant. He fortified himself in the Sultan's palace, gathering around 2,800 men, including soldiers, civilians, and slaves, to defend his claim to the throne. In response, the British began to assemble their forces, positioning three warships, the HMS Philomel, HMS Raccoon, and HMS Sparrow, in the harbor near the palace. The British also prepared a contingent of Marines and sailors to storm the palace if necessary. As dawn broke on August 27, 1896, the standoff reached its climax. At 8 a.m., the British issued a final ultimatum to Khalid, demanding his immediate surrender. The deadline was set for 9 a.m. As the minutes ticked by, it became clear that Khalid had no intention of relinquishing power. At precisely 9:02 a.m., after receiving no response from Khalid, the British warships opened fire on the palace. The bombardment was swift and devastating. The palace, which was primarily constructed of wood, stood no chance against the British naval artillery. Within minutes, large sections of the building were engulfed in flames. The defenders, overwhelmed by the sheer firepower of the British, began to flee. The Sultan's artillery, which consisted of a few antiquated cannons, was quickly silenced. The battle, if it could even be called that, was effectively over before it began. By 9:40 a.m., just 38 minutes after the first shots were fired, the Sultan's flag was lowered, signaling the end of the conflict. Khalid had fled to the German consulate, where he sought asylum. The British, having achieved their objective, quickly installed a pro-British sultan, Hamid bin Mohammed, solidifying their control over Zanzibar. The aftermath of the war was as brief as the conflict itself. The British reported one sailor wounded, while Zanzibari casualties were estimated to be around 500. The palace was in ruins, and Khalid's bid for power had ended in complete failure. The Anglo-Zanzibar War, though short, had profound implications for Zanzibar. It marked the end of any significant resistance to British rule on the island and demonstrated the overwhelming military might of the British Empire. The 38-minute war also serves as a stark reminder of the imperial power dynamics at play during the late 19th century. The British Empire, at the height of its influence, could project its power across vast distances, quickly and decisively. The conflict in Zanzibar was less a war and more a demonstration of that power, a clear message to any other would-be challengers of British authority. Yet, despite the war's brevity, it remains a fascinating chapter in history. The sheer speed at which the conflict unfolded makes it unique. and it highlights the precariousness of political power during this era. In less time than it takes to watch a modern television episode, the fate of a nation was decided, and the course of history was altered. The story of the Anglo-Zanzibar War is a testament to how quickly fortunes can change in the face of overwhelming force. It is a reminder that history is not always shaped by long, drawn-out conflicts, but can sometimes hinge on moments of intense and decisive action. For Zanzibar, those 38 minutes on a hot August morning in 1896 would be remembered as the moment when resistance was crushed and the island's future was firmly placed under British control. As we reflect on this remarkable event, it is clear that the shortest war in history was not just a footnote, but a significant moment that encapsulates the complexities of imperialism, power, and resistance. The Anglo-Zanzibar War may have lasted only 38 minutes, but its legacy endures, offering us a glimpse into a world where the balance of power could shift in an instant, and where the outcomes of history were often determined not by the length of the struggle, but by the sheer weight of the forces involved.